Former state premiers Daniel Andrews and Mark McGowan are among those to receive the highest recognition in this year's King's Birthday Honours list. They are among the 6 recipients of the Companion of the Order of Australia, along with Samantha Mostyn, who will soon become Australia's Governor-General. 737 Australians were given a nod in the honours roll, including comedians, musicians, athletes and health workers. Stephanie Ferrier has the full list and she joins us now from Melbourne. G'day, Steph. Tell us who's got a goal.
Good morning, James. Well, it's interesting you mentioned Samantha Mostyn because, of course, she's going to become Australia's second female Governor-General, the 28th that this nation has seen from July. So next year she's actually going to be in charge of announcing this list. This year she's on it with that AC, or the top gong, the Companion of Order of Australia, for her tireless work really championing women's equality and also being such a prominent businesswoman. But from somebody who's just about to start to enter public life to one who has just finished and has left it, that is, of course, Daniel Andrews, the Premier of Victoria here. He is the state's longest-serving Premier, having surpassed 3,000 days, and also led Labor to 3 successive election victories. What is controversial, of course, is the time that he led the state through the COVID pandemic and various restrictions, and also somebody who really rose to national prominence during the COVID pandemic as well is the former Premier Mark McGowan from WA, who was serving 6 years before resigning. And we also have seen around 34 people that have been honoured as part of that COVID recipient list. That includes Katina Denise. She is a epidemiologist who really led South Australia's public health response, and so she's been honoured for her work there. Also another epidemiologist, Professor Karen Canfill, for her tireless work in trying to eradicate cervical cancer. We've also seen some posthumous honours as well. The late Simon Crean, the former Labor opposition leader and federal minister as well, he has been awarded an AC too. But it's also some of those people that kept us laughing during the pandemic. People like Jimmy Rees, of course, he had that great commentary which really picked up on interstate rivalries during the restrictions, and also the choice of various vaccines that we'll never forget, as well as his fellow funnyman Hamish Blake too. There's also some sporting stars, former cricketer Glenn McGrath, the AFL player Bashar Hula for his tireless work within the Islamic community, and many others. But James, I really love looking down this list and seeing some of those unsung heroes, people like Sister Jane Keogh, who's been always advocating for refugees since back in 2001, really giving hope to what she says are people who have no hope. So it's sometimes some of those unsung heroes that we really get a chance to celebrate on this King's Birthday Honours list.
All right, Steph, thank you. And of course, we'll have more on this list throughout the morning. The body of UK TV presenter Michael Mosley has been found on a Greek island. Ray Kelly worked with Michael on Australia's health revolution, and Ray joins us now from Jillaby in New South Wales. Ray, good morning to you. I can't begin to imagine how you must be feeling right now.
Yeah, look, it's a bit of a shock. Obviously, as the days went on, there was a lot more concern. But, I thought that with Claire and the family, they were very tight, and they must be going through hell right now.
Yeah, and how are you feeling?
Yeah, look, I mean, we've lost a guy who's made a big impact in health across many countries, but he loved Australia, loved coming here, and he was very interested in in the health issues that were here, as we saw with Australia's health revolution.
How did it come about, Ray, that you and Michael ended up working so closely together?
Yeah, well, I was working in the outback in remote community and in Brewarrina, and just travelling through when I got a call from the production company mentioning that Michael was coming to Australia, and had I heard of him? Of course I had, and They were really going to just follow me around for a day, and I would have had my 5-minute spot on there just to highlight some of the programs that were happening. But the more we caught up, the more we realised we had in common, and were following the same research. And he was very interested in the great outcomes we were getting within Aboriginal remote communities.
And Ray, as an Indigenous man, you were able to get access for Michael that he mightn't have otherwise got. You took him into communities. It was, I know he himself wrote about it, that he was exposed to places in Australia that he'd never seen or been before.
Yeah, look, both himself and Claire were very interested in the issues in Aboriginal communities, and very respectful people, really keen to learn more about it, and we're just sort of blown away about what some of the communities had to deal with. But we got around and we went to some great areas and had some bush honey and a range of things there. They loved it.
Yeah. Ray, he was on News Breakfast a couple of times too. He was in our studio. We're just showing pictures of it there way back in 2019 with Michael and I. I think what struck me the most is he was never just flogging a book or a TV series. He really cared about trying to make a difference. And part of that goes to the fact that his own father died prematurely of type 2 diabetes. So Michael was driven by this need to try and ensure that it didn't happen to him, but to help many other people as well. Can you just talk to me a little bit about the genuineness of the man who was Michael Mosley?
Yeah, look, he had an absolute passion for health, obviously, just through his own lived experience, but also hearing the stories of people and the amount of people he impacted, which, weren't too difficult to find as we were travelling. He just had this knack for presenting, for taking complex issues and making it in a simple format that everyday people could understand. And it really got discussion going. And, I think he really enjoyed that. And sort of didn't take for granted that ability to do that. And he just, made a massive impact, especially in Australia.
And that legacy will live on. Ray Kelly, it is sad news, the loss of Michael Mosley, but I do appreciate you joining us this morning to talk about your work and friendship with him.
Thank you.
Really is very sad news.
Yeah, it is, in the manner in which it's happened as well. And certainly a lot of people listened to the podcast, read the book, felt that they had gotten to know him. And so it is sad.
All right, let's go to some other breaking news this morning, because Emmanuel Macron has dissolved the French National Assembly, calling for a snap election. The French president has announced the new parliamentary election after his camp lost heavily to the far-right National Rally Party in the country's EU election.
Israel has defended its military operation that saw the rescue of 4 hostages from a Gaza refugee camp. Health officials in Gaza say 274 Palestinians were killed during the raid on a refugee camp on Saturday. Israel's leaders are celebrating the mission as a success, but War Cabinet Minister Benny Gantz has resigned from the emergency government, saying Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is preventing what he calls true victory in Gaza.
Tasmanians who cause serious bodily harm to frontline workers will face at least half a year in jail under draft legislation being put forward by the state government this week. Tasmanian Attorney General Guy Barnett says emergency services, retail and hospitality staff and child safety officers will all be included in the definition of frontline workers.
Organisers at Sydney's Vivid Festival have implemented improved safety measures after large crowds caused a bottleneck after the drone light show on Saturday. People were heard screaming as Saturday night's crowd attempted to disperse from Circular Quay. Authorities increased safety measures and police presence for Sunday's show, and that seemed to resolve the issue.